Good morning, and welcome to Hexagon TV. I'm Tim Cronyn, your host for today's Channel Partner Corner with Dean Solberg from Exact Metrology. Dean, thanks for coming in today.
Good morning.
How are you feeling?
Awesome. Great day in Vegas.
The last time I saw you, you were on a mechanical bull last night at Gillies. So.
Shh, don't tell my wife.
Very good. Can you tell us a little bit about Exact Metrology and what our audience might like to know?
Sure. Exact Metrology is a full-service metrology distributor. We focus primarily on Hexagon products, Hexagon metrology products, and then we also use those products for contract measurement services as well, so that we are experienced in the implementation of the product, which gives us the ability to educate our customer better on how to use the equipment.
And before we go much further on that, how did you yourself get started in the business or forming Exact Metrology?
Kind of funny, I started in the early 80s in the metrology industry, actually as a Brown & Sharp sales guy, a distributor years ago, and actually went to North Kingston, Rhode Island, going through the Brown & Sharp training school years ago. From there, selling validators back in the day, graduated into selling higher-end metrology equipment going into the 90s, and in the early 90s I established a relationship with Romer. Which was our entree into Hexagon Metrology after Hexagon acquired Romer as one of their companies. So that's really how we got into it. The formation of Exact Metrology was Steve Young and I, who was my business partner. He was employed with Honda using Romer products, and Romer had hired him as a direct employee, and he was my applications engineer many years ago, where we traveled demonstrating the product. And from there, he became a distributor of his own in the Ohio area as True Position Measurement. And then in 2000, he and I formed Exact Metrology, combining the two territories and product lines.
So your area of influence spans what part of the country?
The primary, let's call it the greater Midwest, starting from Ohio and Kentucky, and then heading further west out to pretty much the center of Iowa, going up to the northern part of Wisconsin, and let's call it the center part of Illinois, Caterpillar country, if you will.
Okay. And how many people do you have working for you?
We've got approximately 35 people that are employed by our company, housed out of 2 offices. Some people do work out of their homes, but we have about 50-50 distribution between our Milwaukee, Wisconsin office and our Cincinnati, Ohio office.
Okay. So a little bit of geographic question. Do you find it different working with anybody in Ohio versus Wisconsin or versus Illinois? Are people all the same, or are they different?
To some degree, they're different. I think that you find that, in Illinois, especially in the Chicago area, they're more accustomed to the sales routine that takes place and are probably a little bit more hardened to it. I think you get up in the upper areas of Wisconsin and customers are a little bit more forgiving. They're a little bit more understanding and appreciative of the fact that you're bringing them new technology. Ohio, I don't have a lot of experience myself. My business partner actually manages that area.
Okay. So I'll get with Steve the next time I see him. So I know that you and Steve have traveled the world, literally, to look at new technology for your company to sell. I guess a couple of questions. First is, how does Hexagon Manufacturing Intelligence technology match up to what you've seen?
Certainly, Hexagon Manufacturing Intelligence has put together a group of companies that cover the gambit of requirements for customers with regard to the metrology industry. If you look at it, they have the ability to be able to inspect down to sub-micron level with some of their high-end machines, and then they have the ability to be able to inspect very, very large products to the closest thousandths of an inch, 50 feet away. So without a doubt, they've got the widest product breadth of anybody in the industry, and that's awesome because we can tie it all together with one piece of software.
Great, thank you. And how about new technologies? What do you see going forward at some of these shows that our audience or perhaps Hexagon should be interested in looking into?
What's particularly interesting about Hexagon that I've seen over the years coming to this specific event is it's the combining of the technologies between the different divisions of Hexagon. And that's a key advantage I think that Hexagon has, is as they acquire companies, they combine those technologies together, utilizing the strengths of each company to make their products that much stronger. So from that perspective, the stack up is awesome. They actually going forward, probably present some of the most forward-thinking products on the market. What we do see going forward also is more automation, more quality control automation, where people are looking to robots to do more inspection. The large tombstones in the middle of a shop taking up tremendous amounts of real estate is going to be the thing of the past in 10, 15 years, in my opinion.
Great, thank you. Your company has always impressed me that you do a variety of things. I'm from the Detroit area, and it seems everything we always do was related to automotive. Nothing wrong with automotive, but you always seem to have different challenges and different things to do. One of them is the Cincinnati Reds organization that you've been working with. Can you tell us a little bit about what you've been doing there?
Absolutely. It's a fascinating project that we've been involved with. The city of Cincinnati is putting together essentially a Hall of Fame, if you will. Many of their sports figures are obviously involved in it, people like Pete Rose, Johnny Bench, where we have been approached by a fairly well-known artist out of Cincinnati who has essentially created a mini version, if you will, of a statue of Pete Rose or Johnny Bench, brought it to us and asked us to scan it so he can actually scale it up. So we actually will scan an 18-inch sculpture that he's created. He'll scale it up, create a foam model essentially out of it so that he can ultimately pour a bronze statue. Some of the challenges also are the fixturing that takes place, for example, in the Pete Rose scenario. It was Pete Rose sliding into first base, or actually it was home base, hands forward like this. And so it was a situation where we had to assist the artist in coming up with the necessary fixturing to be able to get the job done.
So the technology used to scan that was
a roamer arm
roamer
specifically.
with a scanner.
Yes.
Thanks again. Why was that the right technology to use for that particular application?
Several reasons. One is the size of the statue initially was fairly small, but with high detail. And with the Romer RS4 scanner, the resolution of the scanner is 14 microns. So it gave us the ability to be able to pick up the small details. So scaling it became much simpler because the quality of the data was good. As the statue got larger, and we were in that instance actually comparing the statue to the original scan data, in those scenarios, our concerns were a larger part, still with high resolution. So because the roamer arm allows us the ability to scale it, if you will, with larger size arms and still yet having high resolution, it worked actually quite well.
Great. And that statue gets unveiled this
I believe it's this
month?
Saturday.
This Saturday, okay.
Right.
At Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati.
Correct.
So hopefully everybody can make it down there to see that. You're kind of old, so I have a few questions for you about that. You've been selling in this industry since the early 80s.
Correct.
What would you say is different about the people that you sell to today versus that period of time?
Interesting question. People are people. You know, from that perspective, they haven't changed, I would say. I think their education levels have changed. I think people are smarter today than they were years ago. I think part of that's due to the educational process that we've all gone through in educating our customers on technology that's available to them today. I believe that's partly the salesman's responsibility to educate the customer on what's available to maybe make his job a little bit easier day in and day out to be able to produce a better, higher quality part. So I think that the customer, in summary, is a smarter customer today than ever. And that's due, I think, primarily to the availability of things like the internet.
Okay. Along those same lines, at a presentation yesterday, they were discussing multi-generations in the workforce. So you have a baby boomer and you have a millennial working side by side. I know that you have a fairly young workforce. Have you had any challenges working with the millennials or keeping them on target or keeping them within the company?
It's kind of funny. You mentioned I'm the old guy. I have we issue hard hats for our guys, and of course you put the name on the hard hat. My hard hat says Crypt Keeper, so I guess I'm considered the old guy as far as it goes. The interesting thing about our business is it's technology driven, and the millennials enjoy the technology that we present to them, that we educate them in how to use. And so keeping them on track, I would tell you the bigger issues are sometimes we have to hold them back a little bit. Sometimes they're a little too aggressive because It's just cool technology, and they push it to the edges of its capabilities. But I also think that that's how we further develop some of the technology that's out there. What you have is a sales guy that has a tendency to oversell something, and suddenly we all have to deliver on that, or a contract measurement guy that pushes the equipment a little further than what maybe the capabilities were, and we find out that it can do that.
Great. Then the last question related to that is, your company seems to me to be very powerful in social media. I follow you on Twitter, and you seem to be very active on that. How has that helped move Exact Metrology's business forward?
That's a marketing thing, and I think that the world today is more so paying attention to social media and what you're doing today. You know, in the printed media, what you find is it's something that we might have done 3, 4, 5, 6 months ago. Now it's the situation where it's immediate access to information, and so we're out there promoting the jobs that we're doing today and the things that we're doing today to help a customer better produce a product, maybe a higher quality product, or head off a problem before it actually becomes a problem.
All right, great. That's all the questions I have. Is there anything that you'd like to say to our audience before we go?
Exact Metrology, once again, I just want to reiterate, we're a full-service metrology company. We're proud to be a representative of Hexagon Metrology, and we do full-service contract measurement services, including CT scanning, structured light scanning, using the Icon products, the Leica laser trackers, and then we incorporate the Leica Geosystems long-range scanners as well, utilizing maybe a roamer arm with a Leica long-range scanner to tie large data sets together as well. So we do that also. So if you want to learn more about Exact Metrology, please look us up at www.exactmetrology.com. Thank you.
All right, nice ad. Thank you for joining us today on the Channel Partner Corner, and have a great day at Hexagon Live.